off of Wyoming Highway 16 on West Ten Sleep Road to head up to Battle Park. Less than a mile up West Ten Sleep Road, you'll see a sign that points to the left for Battle Park. Of course, you go left there and fasten your seatbelt, put your truck in second gear, and haul slowly and methodically up the mountain through the cattle gates and the washboards and the rocks on the road to get up to a really nice campground. So these photos are of the road. None of it's very wide. There are a couple spots that you can allow 2 rigs to pass, but if you do have to pass, just be patient. There are spots where you can do it. It is narrow, it is windy, it is bumpy.
Good morning, it's Beth Boyle, Iowa Trailrider, and this is my camp video of the Battle Park horse camp in Wyoming. So a couple of things to say about this horse camp right off the bat. This is boondocking. There's no electricity here, there's no dump here. There is water here, which is awesome. And some of these super duper heavy duty welded pens. But usually not enough for everybody to get a pen. And this camp is at 9,100 feet. So a little different kind of camp to think about, and keep those things in mind as you watch the video and see if you want to try it. It's remote, and the facilities are decent here. Yep, as far as remote camping goes, or dry camping, whatever you want to call it, this is a pretty nice place to do it. So when you arrive, you're going to come in on a windy and rough mountain road. Comes in here, and then I'll show you kind of a 360 view of the front of the camp. Here, your one trailhead goes out that way, and then you can camp anywhere up in here. So there's the kind of welcome station that I just told you about. Camping all along this side. Yep, all along. And then on this side, there are pens and poles to put your highline on, but bring your own highline. And then there's 2 sets of bathrooms. I'll show you a little more of those. They're just, well, maybe I won't. They're just standard vault toilets, but they're clean and, you know, well stocked. And then there's some more camping and some more pens off this way. And another nice feature when you first come in that if you're not familiar with the area, you might not realize. In this little low spot here, there is a pipe and a hose that brings spring water down. And this hose, I'll show you here in a little bit, but it runs constantly. So this is how the water works here. There's a pump up the mountain somewhere that's pumping spring water down into a couple of these big tubs. The water comes in over here and back out over here, and there's a constant small flow through here. So these tanks are always full, and a group has donated these yellow buckets, which the idea behind the yellow bucket is that rather than you dumping or scooping water with your bucket in there that has your horse germs in it, you use these yellow buckets. And the only purpose for the yellow buckets is to scoop the water. So you can scoop the water into your own buckets, or like for us, we'll scoop into the yellow buckets. And then we're lucky enough to have our stalls just right over here. And we fill our own buckets from the yellow buckets. So kind of a courtesy thing to do here in this kind of situation. Don't put your horse's germs in the water we all share. But what a great idea, right? And let's see, this bucket says who donated these. It says donated by the Walls. And what a great idea. Thank you, Walls. So when you first come in, you're welcome to buy this display here, which is very nice. Use regulations, some information about the Battle Park campground, and a box to leave donations. So there's no set fee to stay, you know, number of days or anything. You make a donation. So we put in 20 bucks a night. I don't know if that's high or low or whatever it is, but that's what we did. So here are two other things to know about. There is a Cloud Peak Wilderness Use Registration, and one person from your group at a minimum should fill this out and write down, how many nights your group's going to be here and how many people you have. This isn't really a permit or anything like that, but it is the way that they're tracking how many people are using the area. So please do pick one of those up, and they do ask, it's carbon. So the front you leave here, and the back is a card with a string. Kind of morbid joke, but we were joking that they were toe tags. Yeah, so anyway, take the front one with you. And then this other envelope here is Battle Park donations. And they go in, there's two of these donation boxes. And yeah, you put them in there. Pedestal opens up like this, and little envelopes are inside, which, yeah, great idea, right? Yep, so right here behind the welcome, there's a hose. I'm not sure where it comes from, or an irrigation pipe. This one has a splitter on it. And then, yeah, this hose runs constantly, and when you're done with it, you put it in this little pipe here. It goes into this culvert. But yeah, pretty good flow through it. And the water goes through and then down through the ditch on the other side. But yeah, it's right up front here. And if you have a water tank that you want to use to water your horses, you can get more water right here. So here's some more video of the campground. Most of the big, heavy welded pens are in sets of 4. Looks like maybe that one is a single. But you can kind of tuck up into the trees to kind of get the shade if you want. But yeah, and then back here, there's the other vault toilet. So here on the left side of camp, there's a kind of a group fire pit. There's the first watering tub. And then, like I said, there are sets of 4 stalls here, heavy duty welded. A few days ago, there was a bull moose coming through and eating hay. So, everybody should, if you come up here, don't leave your hay out. And when you put it in bags, put it on the inside of your pen so that the moose or the elk or whoever comes down through camp won't be tempted to eat your hay and come into camp and maybe scare your horses. But the pens are super nice. You might see a few blanketed horses. Gets chilly up here at night. And I think, it can easily be 40s. And most of us are going to come up here while our horses have their summer hair on. So I brought a fleece cooler for my horse and a waterproof blanket. Yeah, we got rained on a couple of times and hailed on. And, when they're not necessarily in a covered shelter, that can be a miserable way to spend the night. The pens do get kind of muddy when it rains. But there is a wheelbarrow, and here you just throw your poop in a pile outside. And yep, there's more pens down this way. Oh, and there's some deer. Let me see if I can show you on the far end of the pen. See them walking down there? We saw 30 elk on a ride yesterday. Isn't that cool? But yep, here's the deer. Make sure you can see them off the edge there. Cool. So here's the middle of camp. Lots of trees. These are our rigs here. So people on one side and horses on the other. Although they do tell me that you can put your rig on this side. There's not really any specific rules. It's not very level. I'm going to point out here, there is a place to mount your horse, which is nice. And that's about it. There's just really not much more to say. The other tub of water is down that way. Works the same. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Battle Park. So there is some gear to have to come up here. A lot of people are using Croupers or Britchin. I'm not. It is optional, but there are definitely some steep spots here. So that might be something that if you think you might need that, definitely practice at home. It's not something you just want to pop on your horse and come out into the mountains with. Generator is important. It does get cool here at night, and you might want a little heat. And your propane, you might want to save that for your refrigerator, because yeah, you got to keep your refrigerator cold while you're up here. So running your generator and your lights and stuff will of course run off your battery and your horse trailer, but you'll want to charge your battery up too. So I'm charging my battery about every other night. It doesn't get necessarily low, in one day, but just want to keep it on the top end. And bring your gas up. The nearest gas station is, well, let's see, the road up in here is 17 miles, and out to Tensleep it'd be over 20. So you could get out there, but the way this road is, it would take you an hour just to get 17 miles done. So you don't want to run out of gas while you're up here either for your generator. A duster. Don't come up with just a lightweight, one of those little raincoats in the little baggies that are so easy to haul around. Up here when it rains, like it did the last 2 times that we were here, it starts with hail, and that rainwater is cold. So it's the end of July, and yeah, it's hailed on us enough to leave piles of hail in the grass. Our friend that drove up yesterday got here about noon, and there was still piles of hail around. So you don't want to be out there without some kind of significant covering. And God forbid you get lost or end up having to spend the night out there. But a coat like a duster, by a duster I mean it's knee length or longer. A lot of them are waxed canvas so that they're waterproof. They go, so they're going to cover you from neck to knees. And then I had one of those kind of almost shower cap looking kind of protector things for my hat. So when we did get caught in the rain yesterday, my cowboy hat would run the water off, and then down my back, and my duster opens up to cover the back part of my saddle and make sure that that cold water doesn't run down underneath my bum. One man in our group yesterday had a short raincoat on, and he got his bum and his legs wet. he looked pretty uncomfortable, because when you get back, as y'all know, you got chores to do and horses to put away and stuff. And like yesterday, it was still raining. Icy rain. So anyway, just a couple of ideas on what kind of gear to use. Make sure that your horse is in tip-top condition, because the altitude here is really something. Didn't bother our horses, and luckily, me personally, I didn't have any trouble with it. But it is something that you might want to acclimate to before you take off and just assume everything's going to be okay. So here's a couple more ideas for coming up to Battle Park. Most of us, when we come up here, will have come from summer. Casper here's got his short summer hair on, and overnight it was 47 degrees and it rained. So last night before it started raining, you might see the blue layer on him. That is a fleece cooler. So it's not a full blanket, but it is a cooler, and it makes a good underlayer. And then the red, white, and blue stars layer is a waterproof sheet. And it is a blanket. It actually buckles in front and has the straps come around, underneath the belly and around the back legs. So this has worked out really well. This got wet a little bit there by his tail and up on his neck, but I reached in there, and he is warm and dry underneath the waterproof part. He finds it itchy. He's not a blanket horse, so he's not used to having all of that on. But the one time that we came back in the rain and he got rained on, he was just standing here shivering. Poor guy. We had just done the Solitude Loop, so he'd ridden 22 miles in the mountains, some pretty rough stuff, and then come back and got rained on while we were unsaddling, and he just stood here and shivered, and he got wet before he could get the blankets on. So yeah, just another idea the fleece cooler works pretty good, but man, this waterproof sheet over the top seems to have made a big difference for him too. Not everybody's doing it. If you see here, some of the horses have a blanket or a cooler on, and some of them don't. Certainly personal choice, but as hard as this horse has worked for me these last few days, it seemed like it wasn't too much to ask, at least for me anyway. So you can make your own decision on whether you want to blanket your horse. But this waterproof layer, it also, another benefit of it, so I'm sitting in my trailer nice and warm and dry. I know that Casper's not out here shivering, and that would make me feel bad. So when you come in, the camp host spot will be on your right almost immediately, with a nice set of pens and a good place to park. So yep, that's where you'll find your camp host. So something important to know up here is that you should have a good paper map. Even if you've got a Garmin, if you've got All Trails or whatever, you should still have a good paper map. By the time 5 of us got back from the loop at Solitude Lake, we had 2 phones completely dead and a third one almost dead. So make sure you got a paper map. And the one that we picked up is the National Geographic map for the Cloud Peak Wilderness. So National Geographic map for Cloud Peak Wilderness. And it's a kind of a lightly laminated map of this whole area, and it was really good to have that one with you. Now that one's still only going to have the big well-known numbered trails on it. There's going to be more trails on All Trails or Gaia or something like that, but what we found is that a lot of those tracks that some individual person recorded are gone. You get out there and there's a line that goes up through the timber or across a creek or something on the phone, but there's no trace of it when you actually go to look for it. So keep that in mind. We added probably 6 miles to an already large and long and challenging Lake Solitude loop by not using the main trails. So if you're new up here, my suggestion would be to stick to the main trails. Something to know about the National Geographic map is that where it is marked Battle Park is not where the horse camp is. So that threw us yesterday. We added about a mile to our ride yesterday, thinking that where the National Geographic map has a little loop and it says Battle Park, that was a horse camp. Well, that's incorrect. That Battle Park is actually the trailhead that is west, maybe a little north of the campground. So this trail that leaves, let's see, over this direction, which actually you're not seeing, sorry about that. But it's 360, and I will swing around here. This trail that leaves here, and you can see one kind of goes up to the left and one goes up to the right. The one that goes to the right is 360, and on the map, it shows that it is south of Battle Park. So we rode south on the road out of the horse camp looking for this trail, and it wasn't south of us, it was actually north of us. So the Battle Park Trailhead is northwest of the camp up this road. It's up there. So when you see on your map that 360 is south of Battle Park, it's the Battle Park Trailhead, and it's actually on the northwest side of the camp. So things like that, they're learning moments. If your buddy makes a navigational error like that, like I did yesterday, don't give them a hard time. Just roll with it. Yep. 360 goes up over here, and 173 goes that way, and the Battle Park Trailhead is that way, kind of northwest out of camp. So let's talk a little bit about when to come up here and what the weather's likely to be like. The season up here is around 90 days, somewhere around the middle of June, July and August until early in September. But any time in there, they tell me it could snow. Could snow up here, and it would melt off probably same day. But we've been up here 3 nights, and we've seen hail 3 times. and enough hail that piled up in, some of the gals that drove up mistook it for snow. So we dress in layers. You probably won't need shorts up here. It's not going to get hot up here. We came from 10 sleep, and it was pretty hot down there. It was getting to be mid 90s in late July down in 10 sleep. But you come up the mountain and the temp will drop an easy 15 degrees, and then up all the way up here, the temps have been upper 60s, low 70s as highs, but like this morning, it rained last night and it's 47 degrees this morning. So I've got my warmer coat on this morning and my stocking hat and my gloves. And this is the only time I've had them on. But bring lightweight, midweight, and warm weight stuff. I'm not saying, bring snow boots and snowmobile gear. It's not like that. You're not going to need it. But have seen pictures of there being, certainly more snow than is necessary to cover the ground. So, yeah, be sure you have some kind of waterproof boots. And I don't know if the rain that we've gotten here has been unusual, but each time it's rained, it's hailed. Not enough to damage the trucks, thank goodness. But there has been hail each time. So make sure that your trailer is ready and watertight and that your clothes are too. When we've been riding, usually by middle afternoon, if we're out in the sun, at least part of the time, I've been able to ride in short sleeves or just, regular ladies' long sleeve snap down shirt. First thing in the morning, if you're a little averse to cold like I am, you might want something like this on. So here's what's going out to Pucker Ridge at Battle Park with me today. I've got a warm drink, a tea drink, a tall Contigo full of regular water, apple, cheese sticks, the paper map, Cloud Peak Wilderness, Garmin, gun, my lunch in here, and my chaps. So these are chaps that I make myself and really enjoy wearing them, and this is the perfect weather and place to do it. So here's my example of dressing in layers. I have a short sleeve t-shirt on, I have a long sleeve t-shirt on, I have a hoodie, a full zip hoodie on, and then a windbreaker pulled over the top. And I'll be shedding these layers as the day goes by. It was 47 degrees at Battle Park this morning, and right now all these layers feel pretty good. Hope you enjoyed the video, everybody. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Signing off, Beth Boyle, Iowa Trail Rider.